Welcome to Knicksfandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
I don't even want your congratulations. I recognize you as far as confidence and calculated promises all in your conversation. This is episode 45 of our podcast known as Knicksfandom. As always, I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope all listeners out there are doing great. Glad to be joined by my fellow co-host, Danny D. How you doing, Danny D?
LA, what's going on, man?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. Doing better than some of these NBA coaches right now. But, we're going to get into that today's show. Also glad to be joined by my fellow co-host, Flo. How you been doing, Flo?
LA, I'm great today. How you doing today, man?
Doing well, fellas. Got a lot to talk about. A lot of segments to go through. We're going to NBA playoffs, the NBA coaching carousel. But we're going to get right into it, listeners, with NBA talk. And we're finally here. In the Final Four are the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Houston Rockets, Boston Celtics, or the reigning NBA champions, Golden State Warriors. But before we get into our predictions and discuss NBA conference finals as a whole, I feel like we got to discuss some of the recent NBA coaches that have been fired and hired, fellas. Overall thoughts regarding these matters. And I want to start things off with Toronto Raptors coach, former coach, surprisingly being fired this past week, Dwane Casey. And he was fired by general manager Masai Ujiri. I'm a big fan of his, fellas. But in any case, Case was fired after being the most successful Raptors coach in history. He has coached the Raptors for 7 years and is the franchise all-time leader with 320 wins and has the team's only 350-win seasons. This past team won 59 games, a record for that team, but after getting swept 4-0 to the Cleveland Cavaliers and their nemesis LeBron James, in the second round of playoffs, Masai Ujiri evidently felt the organization needed to go another direction. Now, off the air, Danny D, you were somewhat critical to coaching as a whole in this Raptors and Cavaliers series when we talked about it. What do you think about Dwane Casey being fired, and do you think he deserved to be fired at the end of the day?
Like we was talking off the air, I said Dwane Casey made mistakes during the playoffs, but I don't think he needs to be fired. Like, for instance, Flaubert sent me an article explaining when LeBron James hit the game winner, he should have got double teamed. But, he got it. He's one of the best players in the world. Of course, he's going to get busy. But Dwane Casey being fired means that DeRozan needs to be traded or cut it, and Kyle Riley needs to get out of there because it's not Dwane Casey's fault on that hand. The thing is, you're looking for a scapegoat. Who's the easier scapegoat than Dwane Casey? He's only making, he's going to make $6 million next year. That's all you have to do. Get rid of him. He's a scapegoat. That's the problem. No, the team wasn't good enough to beat LeBron James and the rest of the cast members. He's one of the best coaches out there right now, and it's a big loss for the Toronto Raptors. They're looking for that, and if that's the case, they should just blow up the team.
I hear you. I definitely concur with a lot of things you're saying. What you think about it, Flo?
LA, totally agree that they should have. Toronto has no business firing Dwane Casey. 7 years with the Raptors. He's the Raptors' winningest coach in NBA, in franchise history. 320 wins, 238 losses, 573 winning percentage, 350 win seasons, 4 Atlantic Division titles, 2018 Coach of the Year award won on Wednesday, fired on Friday morning. Made the Raptors into the playoff team 5 years in a row. Got them in the playoffs 5 straight years in a row. The rumor that's been circling on the internet was that he had asked for a 2-year contract extension because he was looking for job security. Masai Ujiri, the Raptors GM, said no. He decided to just go in a different direction and fire him. I know with Ujiri, he has issues of, especially after Raptors losses, of screaming at referees behind closed doors. There's always been rumors about that. Allegedly, he got into a shouting match with Casey after Game 3 with the LeBron game-winning shot. But all in all, I'm not sure you could find a better coach out there that can replace Dwane Casey right now. He's not. He doesn't deserve to lose his job. You're looking for a scapegoat, and easiest thing to do is fire a coach. You can't fire a player. So, all in all, he should have kept his job. Let him honor the last year of his contract. He has every right to ask for an extension. If your jury felt like he didn't want to pay him more money and give him that year, that's on him. Everything's on him at the end of the day right now. Everything's on your jury. He doesn't get the job done as a GM. He's going to be the next guy that'll be fired.
Oh, you hit it right on the head, Flo. Definitely, the bullseye's on him, squarely on Masai Ujiri. And you know, fellas, you know I'm a fan of Masai Ujiri. I actually wanted him to be the GM of the Knicks when they were looking for their GM. But it's falling on him now. And it's tough because I won't say Dwane Casey is the greatest in-game coach decision-wise. You know, I don't think he's horrible, but he's not the best. He's not Brad Stevens. How many people is Brad Stevens when we're talking about in-game coaching? Not many. But the point being is, I think you're looking at it right now very short-sighted. And like you broke it down, Flo, we talked about in the beginning of the show, all the accolades he had as a coach of the Raptors. And I think you're being very short-sighted right now, not looking at his whole history, just going by the playoffs, in that you're not putting into account, this team is not one of the best teams in the NBA, despite their 59-win record. They don't have an MVP player on that team. I don't think there's one player on that team you would take out of all the teams that's left. Even with, they don't have a James Harden. They don't have a LeBron James. They don't have a Stephen Curry or Kevin Durant. They don't have a Jason Tatum type. I would take Jason Tatum over DeMar DeRozan at this point, even what he's done with just a rookie season. I think this is pretty much the best you're going to get out of DeMar DeRozan. He showed up not at all during these playoffs. He was horrible. You going to put that on Dwane Casey? I think he did the best he could do with this team at the end of the day, because this team, he actually changed the way he coached to make this team. He brought in the rookies. He made that work well, and he's a veteran coach. A lot of coaches don't do that. They was getting on him before, so they're not using his roster fully. He adapted to that. He gave Kyle Lowry some minutes, gave him some rest, let him work, and he played better in the playoffs because of that. And you have to look at this team, and some of this fall beside your jury. As much of my family as his, he hasn't got that big piece for him yet. None of these players right now you would trade for a franchise player that's on the Toronto Raptors, you know? And I think being very short-sighted looking at it at this point. And to see this team continue to get better year after year under Casey, I think you have to look at that. There's not too many coaches that can keep that going with a franchise the way he has done and continue to get better, tend to get more out of him. I think they need more players, more franchise players, more than just him coaching-wise. What I would have done is maybe get an assistant coach to help him with just in-game coaching things, specifically for that type of thing. Like, not so much Stan Van Gundy type, but I think somebody's a younger version of him who's very good just in-game stuff. I think that would have helped him out more than just firing a man at this point. I wouldn't have did that at that role. I think you're seeing basically a tale of two cities right now. And I'm going to get on Stan Van Gundy later and show you why he should have been fired versus Dwane Casey not shouldn't be fired at this point. That's the way I would look at it right now. And what do you guys think going forward with this team? What do you think is going to lead this team going forward as a franchise? What do you think about that, Danny D?
They're in trouble because when I say they're in trouble, because we think about it, guys, they're in the East. And like we said before, Flo in LA, the main thing is what? You have to win, and one that includes all and win championships. But look at the roster that they have, right? You bring Ibaka, and then now coming off the bench, you have Fred VanVleet. That was supposed to be a backup guard for Kyle Lowry starting minutes. Listen, he played horrible in the playoffs because now what's the problem with the future? You have to contend with who? Boston and Philadelphia. Those guys are young. Kyle Lowry is what, 33? DeRozan's old. So now you got Kyle Lowry on that big contract and you got DeRozan on his contract. You're getting older. You're not getting younger. Like you said, they have to get some more star players to go in there and actually complete. But who wants to go to Toronto now? Now you find players like that to play together. What's going to happen now?
I don't know. I think he's 32 right now, Lowry. But in any case, the thing being, if you have Brad Stevens right there, D, or Flo, do you think this team still would have beat LeBron the way LeBron's playing right now? To be honest, he got maybe 1-2 more wins at the end.
But that's
in the playoffs. I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say. No, I said no. You don't got to beat when Fred VanVleet is taking the game-winning shot. Why is the ball in Fred VanVleet's hand to shoot the game winner to win a game? You understand what I'm saying? He shouldn't even been on the foot. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Not even with the end, like you said, end game game, of course. But then Kyle Lowry, DeRozan, stuff like that, like you said, you want the ball in these hands? Because the thing is, you get hyped up because you beat Washington. You didn't play nobody. Washington only got 2 players, too. They on the same boat. Y'all basically the same team.
Pretty much. That's basically what it is. You got teams that win well in the regular season and they get exposed in the playoffs because it's a different animal. Like I always say, it's a different beast come playoff time. The cream will usually rise to the top. And that's just how it is. When you want to add to that, Flo?
Definitely. The answer to that question, hell no. They can't move forward by you firing Dwane Casey. No way. Even if you bring in, let's say, like a Mike Budenholzer, I don't think they can really do much because you think about it. They won 59 games under Dwane Casey this season. There's no guarantee they're going to win 59 games next season. You got to remember, they took advantage of the injuries to Boston with their big 2, with Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. They got hurt. Cleveland had to make some trades, come trade deadline to revamp that entire team because Isaiah Thomas, missed a chunk of the season with his groin injury. So once again, Toronto, they took advantage of this season. They won 59 games. Next season, they might not win 59 games. They might win 50. They might win 48 games next season. You look at that. You look at that entire roster from starting lineup to the bench. You got a guy like Valanciunas, overrated. You got Lowry and DeRozan. You just see from this playoff that DeRozan is not number 1 option. That's what the problem is. You have some youngsters that they can develop and continue to get better that will strengthen that bench. You got a guy like Fred Van Fleet, who they rely too much upon from their bench. But again, shouldn't be taking game-winning shots. That's not for him. He's not a star. He's a role player. He's not Steve Kerr. No way. He's not even John Paxson. He's not even BJ Armstrong. No way. No way.
Exactly. I'll hit it on the head, man. Go ahead, Danny D.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Van Fleet is no disrespect. But the thing, you shouldn't have been in that predicament. No disrespect to him. We're not just trying to disrespect. He's a good ball player. But like I said, you're not getting paid the amount of money, but you're supposed to be doing that. The ball shouldn't have been in your hand. You don't get that. You don't get them bucks to do that. That's all we're trying to say. No disrespect to him.
Oh, no doubt.
Thank you, Danny.
No doubt.
Thank you, Danny.
That's DeRozan job. That's the problem. When you only got a certain amount, you got to remember, this is a salary cap league, fellas. You only got a certain amount of money to give to certain players. If your big money people don't step up and play like big money people, you ain't winning. That's just the bottom line. DeRozan sucked. He didn't play well. Same thing you saw with Paul George. He didn't play well, and they got bumped. And that's what's happened. LeBron played like he's supposed to. You seen Kevin Durant play like he's supposed to. Steph Curry step like he's supposed to. And that's what happens. And that's why they move on. That's why you at home looking at TV just like us. That's the problem. Dwane Casey don't put the ball in the hole. He don't stop you from getting to the hole. They didn't do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, you could say he might move the chess piece a little better, but it's no excuse you dropping 8 points to Rosen. There's no excuse for that. I don't care you got Brad Stevens, anybody on that team. That's not going to make no difference with that. You got to step up, and because of this what happens, he gets the blunt of the bro. But now it's on Masai. And the big thing you got to realize, this is Toronto Raptors. No disrespect to Toronto, great city, and everything of that nature, but nobody's running over there to play. Nobody's running over there to play in Toronto. And that's just the way it is. They never gotten a franchise player to play. Even when they came there, they left. The best dude was Vince Carter. He left. So it's like nobody's running over there to play. This is not the Los Angeles Lakers. This doesn't have that type of panache or anything of that nature. So I don't think, why you think the players go, or someone going to rush to go there, or big-time coach is going to rush to go over there, is going to make that big a difference. What I did, get the assistant coach out Dwane Casey with some stuff, get him some more players, keep it going like it is. The team is winning. He's actually adjusted with the young players. That was a big thing to me. So it's like they was on the right path. But the thing is, this path has ended because the players you got is showing they go as far as they can go, and it was time to get rid of some of those players. Either DeRozan or Lowry had to go. That's the way you had to do it, in my opinion. But you listeners can tell us what you think in the comment section. I think that's pretty much it we're going to say regarding this matter. And I want to jump to Stan Van Gundy. Excuse me, fellas. He recently was fired by Detroit Pistons as president of operations and head coach. No shock there. What do you guys think about that overall? Starting with you, Flo.
LA, me and you, we've been saying this for the last 2 years that Stan Van Gundy had to go. This team has made the playoffs one time since he's been coach and GM, one time, and they got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Come on, man. This guy was lucky to keep his job this long. Lucky. This guy has not gotten the job done at all. He did a horrible job in Miami. That's why Pat Riley fired him, and Pat Riley coached that D Wade and Shaquille O'Neal team and got them a championship. This guy is not good of a coach. He's never been that good. He never made any adjustments when it come playoff time. He did a horrible job in Orlando when they got to the finals against the Lakers. And I was sitting there trying to figure out, where's Rafe Alston? You made a big trade for him from Houston. Where was he? Why you didn't play him? Kept playing Jameer Nelson. No disrespect to Jameer Nelson. Good ball player. But he's a role player. Shouldn't be starting. Should have been coming off the bench. You know what? Good riddance, Stan Van Gundy. Detroit doesn't miss you at all. Trust me.
Addition by subtraction. How about you, Dandy? What you think about Stan Van Gundy being relieved of his duties?
He relieved his duties, and also and the thing is, that's the problem too. Because not only did you have him as a coach, you had him as a GM. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have the bulk of 2 titles. So now you're doing double mistakes. So now they only did that with the Blake trade. They also discussed about the draft picks. So Stan, like LA, I know you like Stanley Johnson, but this is the problem with the draft picks too, with Luke Kennard and these guys you picked up, and it really hasn't developed. It's like a hit or miss. So it's like a domino effect. Reggie Jackson getting hurt. So it's a domino effect and things like that, and then you really couldn't push through. And like he said, you want results or you want wins. That's what you're getting noted by. It's how many wins and how many playoffs you're doing. And like you didn't pass the test, man. So you had to go.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like St. John's, but he's not worth that first round pick. He really wasn't.
Yes, yeah.
Not at this point. And not only the bad job as a coach he did, and let's put this out there. There's no beef with Stan Van Gundy personally. No beef at all. This is just what's on the paper when I say a tale of two cities versus Dwane Casey, who shouldn't have been fired at this point in time, versus Stan Van Gundy, who was on borrowed time. For all time, Van Gundy did 152 and 176. Dwane Casey 320 and 238. Why are they both looking for a job? That makes no sense to me in that regards. And not just so, like you stated, Flo, to miss the playoffs, the third time in 4 years, he has did a horrible job as a GM, as you just stated, Danny D. Stanley Johnson, Henry Ellison, Luke Kennard. Mind you, Luke Kennard got picked one pick over Donovan, what's his name? Over Donovan Mitchell. And you had Reggie Jackson. Who would you rather have, Donovan Mitchell or Reggie Jackson? It made no sense to pick Luke Kennard. You had Donovan Mitchell sitting there, you know you want to give Reggie Jackson a contract. He's been injured all the time. He has not stepped up. That was a perfect time to bring a young guy like that to relieve him of his duties. But no, you pick Luke Kennard, who, 40% 3-point, that's good. But other than that, he really did nothing. And doesn't look like he's going to be no superstar to me. When Donovan Mitchell was up there fighting for Rookie of the Year. And you pick him one spot ahead, and you already had a bad point guard who needed to get rid of anyway, who's not really a real point guard. Bad move in my regards. And then just, as I stated before, when I went off on it the first time, you killed the cap. You traded for Blake Griffin. This team is done. For the next 2 years, this team can't do nothing. Unless you find another idiot team to take some of these contracts off your hand. Look at this fella. Blake Griffin going to make over $30 million for the next 2 years. Andre Drummond going to make over $25 million for the next 2 years. Reggie Jackson going to make over $17 million for the next 2 years. All guaranteed contract. And don't forget the Langston Galloway contract. 3 years, $21 million. Why? How, Sway? How? Why are you doing that? You don't have the answers, Van Gundy. You should have been dealt and gone because of that move. $21 million Langston Galloway? Are you crazy? On top of these other moves you did, you just handcuffed this team. This team don't have no star player. All them 3 players I just named, none of them are top 10 in their position. Not Blake Griffin, not Drummond, not Reggie Jackson. And you're paying them that type of money. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And that's why he's on the outside looking in. And should have been on the outside looking in versus Casey. I guess we pretty much hit that on the head, man.
Bomb fishing.
Deep dive fishing, man.
Well,
go ahead, Flo.
LA. The biggest rumors I'm hearing right now is Dwane Casey is the front runner for the head coaching position of the Detroit Pistons, and I'm hearing that the Pistons are trying to reach out to Chauncey Billups for their GM position. Let's see how this works out. I mean, if I'm either one of these guys, I don't think I would take the job anyway.
I wouldn't want the job, but Chauncey Billups was offered a job before and he turned it down, right? Which job was that for? He was offered, because I know you were talking about the Knicks, and there was another team he was offered. The Cavs.
The Cavs. He was on interview. Yeah. Cavs was on for interview.
I don't know. I don't know where that's going to go with that one. They need some help. Either way, maybe he'll be a player that actually care about the organization because he's one of the main stars for them. I mean, he can't hurt at this point, but you definitely got surrounded around some people that know what they're doing. That's the main thing, some experience to me. And just going forward, the Hornets hired Spurs assistant James Borrego as head coach. And what do you think about that, fellas? Just looking at it real quick. Starting with you, Flo.
He's got a lot of experience as an assistant coach with the San Antonio Spurs and also with the Orlando Magics. He coached the Orlando Magics as an interim coach. I believe his record was 10-20. He's got a lot of experience. That's all I can say as assistant coach. This is a big opportunity to prove to everyone that he can be a head coach in this league. Mitch Kupchak made this hire after meeting with Michael Jordan, owner of the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll see. I don't really have too much to say about him personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the first Hispanic coaches. That's going to be a significant thing, I believe, for NBA head coaches. It's always good in that case. You get more people at the table. But like you said, he's kind of a known commodity on some level to me. I mean, I didn't hear him as one of the main head coaches prospects going into it. And I mean, I guess they saw in the interview, and like you said, he somewhat paid his dues. So kind of wait and see process. I'm just kind of shocked he went this early. I thought maybe another year or two he might be away from that. But the NBA is a weird type of situation sometimes. What do you think about it, Danny D?
Yeah, hopefully he can do good, and hopefully some of that from Pop can rub off of him, and he can bring some knowledge over there and work it out and see what he can do with Charlotte.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to wait and see. He's going to have a hard time, though, because that team does not have that many pieces to me, So we're going to see what happens as they go. Also, Atlanta Hawks announced former 76ers assistant coach Lloyd Pierce as their new head coach, which is kind of surprising to me as well. What you thought about that, Danny D?
It was all right, you know what I'm saying? 11 years coaching. He's bounced around a couple of times, and but the thing is, you have to see what he inherited and the players that he got. Maybe he can work it out. And the thing is, it's not even also being a head coach. It's with a team that you bring with you. So hopefully he can do good out there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I pretty much concur with that one. Another one that's, around the coaching carousel. Good to see some of them coaches getting a chance at the big piece, At least you paid your dues in that regard. But a little shocking to me as well. What you thought about it, Flo?
LA, off the top of my head, with Lloyd Pierce. His alma mater is Santa Clara. He played ball with former MVP, Steve Nash. He's got a lot of experience as assistant coach, like Danny D mentioned. The thing what kind of propelled Atlanta to give him the head coaching position is that they saw what he did as with the Philadelphia 76ers in terms of being a player development coach with the 76ers, as we talk about all the time about trusting the process, with the youngsters they have over there. So,
yeah, I heard about that too. But is that really him, or is that the Philadelphia coach himself? It's like, I don't know. That's the only thing I'm saying in that regards. Go ahead, Flo.
No, I would say time would tell. Time definitely would tell. But with the Atlanta Hawks, again, they're right now they're trying to rebuild. So they have 3 first-round draft picks also this year. So once again, they're starting something fresh. They know it's going to take a lot of years. They need a young coach that hasn't coached in the NBA. So he's got, like I said, he's been assistant coach for so many years. I'm happy he's getting this opportunity. I wish him all the best. It's not going to be an easy job in Atlanta, but hopefully he can turn it around, and we'll see.
Yep, pretty much like you stated. We'll see as we go along. But one other thing I want to touch upon, not in the coaching carousel, but regarding Golden State Warriors, a report came out that they was discussing with Klay Thompson a possible multi-year contract extension. What do you guys think about that? Starting with you, Danny D.
Well, you wanted Klay to come over to New York, and we all wanted to, but he said he don't like cold weather. You know what I'm saying? So he said he wanna. That's what he said. And he like to, you like to be out there with shorts in January and things like that. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. One was short, but it goes on the fact that he stated multiple times he wants to stay with one organization. And he's going to do a team friendly. I don't know what the contract, how much the money will play out. and they want to keep that core together. But it starts with him. If I'm him, I want demand money. Like, not selfish in a way. The money is going to come regardless, but you want the most money as possible. But I guess they got the bro Bron going over there with him, Draymond, Steph, and Kevin Durant. So he says he's going to take less money and do the two friendly options so they can stay together.
Summertime. That's what he's talking about. All right. I wanted Klay Thompson for a while, I felt, but like I stated on our previous episode, it just don't look like it's going to happen. And as long as they keep that big four, together, it's going to be a long time for this NBA if them guys stay healthy, man. What you think about it, Flo?
LA, I remember reading something a couple of days ago that he's excited about doing a multi-year extension, but he's willing to take the pay cut because Durant has already stated he's not looking to take a pay cut anymore. He felt like he sacrificed enough to keep this team together. So it looked like they're going to offer the big bucks to Durant, and Klay will just take a reasonable contract extension. That'll be fair. As long as he keeps winning, that's all he cares about. So he doesn't look like he's trying to, make a name for himself by going on another team and being a number one, number two option. So, hey, it's gonna take a lot of effort and a lot of superstars to beat this Golden State Warriors team.
Yeah, and that says something about Klay Thompson to me a little bit. I mean, it's good you want to be a winner and everything in that nature, but that kind of made me feel good that the Knicks don't go after him. If you really want to keep taking these cuts after cuts, even after winning year after year, I don't want you as my star player. Be honest with you, man. I like my star player to have a little ego, man. Because that to me, you are not the number one dude to me. You might have number one talent, but you ain't got that. You ain't got the Kyrie in you. I want some Kyrie in my stars, man. That's the end of the day. I want some Kyrie in my stars. Go ahead, Dan.
No, like you're saying, because I'm like, hey, cause you gotta think about it. Ain't no way I'm letting you come to my team and take that's my money you taking, bro. That's my money. Oh, I'm not taking no more concerts because nobody told you to come over here. We recruited you. Man, you can keep your money. I want max money. That's just straight up. I'm a max player.
There.
I want max.
Not to interrupt you, Danny D, but they was winning before he got there.
Yeah.
But you gonna make me take food off my table? Nah.
Yeah, that's. Nah. But like I said, it's not no team friendly. If that's the thing, then I'll have to go sit down to Steve Kerr and stuff like that. Y'all gonna have to go over the cap. I'm not taking the cut. Y'all gonna have to go over the cap. I'll see you in 2019 or 2020 when I have my free agency. Y'all gonna have to go over the cap. Y'all want me, right? Y'all gonna have to pay me and go over the cap and get fined. That's what how it's gonna be. I'm not taking no cut.
Yeah, gotta take some luxury tax penalty, man. And my thing in New York, if you don't have that mentality, they're gonna eat you up in New York. If you don't have that mentality of wanting to be the man on some level over here, at least the top two. I mean, I get it when it's contagious, but I don't know, man. It says something to me though on a little bit of a level. It says something to me. So if that's the way it's gotta be, then it might be best for them to stay over there.
Golden State. Listen, how much the owners worth? They got money. They can afford it. I'm not taking no cut.
I don't see why. Now when I'm holding these power force and playing on his defense and stuff and losing my points, he'll never go down to be one of the main best players in the league on this team. It's going to be like James Harden when he was with the Thunder. You never would have saw what James Harden going to be after a while without him going to another team. It just wouldn't happen. Not enough minutes, and there's only one basketball to go around.
And that's true, but you got to think about it too. And I don't get hurt. I'm not injured, and I'm not prone to injury like these two. I actually show up and play every night.
Yeah, that's true. But you can't make a man do what he don't want to do at the end of the day. But, appreciate it, fellas, in that regard with those some of those topics that we talked about. But now I want to get into a real, not too deep, but pretty much hot and heavy regarding the main playoffs that's left, this playoff series. I want to start with Cleveland Cavaliers versus Boston Celtics. What are your thoughts about this series, and which team you think will win, and then how many games? Starting with you, Flo.
LA, I got the Cavaliers being the Celtics in 6. The reason I'm giving Boston 2 games because the game. Brad Stevens, excellent coach in terms of making in-game adjustments. The thing I want to see, in order for Boston to really have a chance to win this series, I think you're going to throw multiple bodies at LeBron. What I mean by that, maybe you have Jaylen Brown guard him. You'll have Marcus Smart, who probably will start in this series, guard LeBron. You'll also have Jason Tatum, and you're going to also have Marcus Smart, guard LeBron James. I think you're gonna have to force the Cavaliers role players to step up and win this game instead of LeBron. Let LeBron get his 34 points. I think if you're Boston, maybe you go with a box one. Maybe that's probably the best way of beating the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I can see that. What you think about Danny D?
Listen, it was. I was thinking about it. It's gonna go. I was gonna go to 7 games, and the only reason I'm going with the Cavaliers because I said to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and LeBron is getting busy. And like I said, Tyronn Lue, I told you before, I don't like him as a coach. He just doesn't just coaching me. I don't know. His schemes and everything is horrible. LeBron is doing everything. But Brad Stevens is good. If Brad Stevens can get these young guys to get together and play, the Cavaliers is going to be for a long series. And the thing is that matchup wise, the Cavs can match up well with Boston. And if depending on who's guarding Tatum, if LeBron sticks Tatum, and this say for miraculous reason, George Hill can stay in front of Terry Rozier, the Cavs can really win the series handily. I think they can do that. Because I think if they put Tristan Thompson can negate Al Horford. Al Horford is not going to be bullying Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson is a big body. Al's not going to be bodying that dude down there. He's not. That's not happening. But that has to be on Tyronn Lue and how Tyronn Lue wants to coach it. But I got the Cavs in 7.
Okay, I hear where you come from as well. Although I think Thompson's going to get the worst of that. I think Horford going to bring his big behind out of there, man. He's going to make that dude move. He's going to run. Going to shoot the little jumpers outside.
You have to do that because in the Philly, in the Philly series, that's what Al he was going to go down low. This ain't Philly. These are some big dudes now. These are the Eastern Conference champions right now. So we're going to see.
Yeah, I think the key is going to be Kevin Love and Kyle Korver. They both got to continue to play well. But I'm picking LeBron in 7 and the Cavs. I think it's going to go 7. I would think actually that the Celtics will win this series if Kyrie and Hayward were healthy. I think they really need them in this series, and it's going to show. You need that one player that can make his own buckets, and I think Kyrie was that dude. And I think this is a series that's going to really hurt him right now. I think the experience is going to catch up to him, kind of like Philadelphia got caught up in the last series. And these young guys been playing well. Don't get me wrong, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, they've been doing their job. Marcus Smart showed up and played great last game. But I think that pixie dust is going to run out in this series, man. LeBron's on a mission. He's been playing like I haven't seen him in pretty much ever, consistent-wise, series to series. And he's not going to let this team with Kyrie sitting on the bench beat him. Not going to let that happen if he's healthy. I think they're going to find a way to squeak it out. He always played pretty well and tough in Boston. They got history. And I really think Brad Stevens will be able to do a good job because he's going to try to do a lot of stuff that Popovich did, make him shoot a jumper and everything during that series. But LeBron been hitting that fadeaway. He's been making the right passes. So it's not that same LeBron that was like scared to shoot the jumper the same way before. When he get that lane, he's going down there, he's dunking it, or he's taking that fadeaway, or he's making the right pass. So right now, I don't think he'll be able to do the same thing he was able to do back then. And these players, I think, need a little bit more experience to be able to execute everything on the big stage. So I think he'll come a little bit short, maybe 6, but I'm picking 7 games. LeBron's going back to the finals. All right, fella, anything you want to add to that series before we move on to the next one?
And I just go ahead, before you cut you off, just tell Rodney Hood it's okay to go into the game. You can shoot. It's okay. You can go into the game, play. It's okay. It's okay. I know it's national TV and you don't like to play. You know what I'm saying? But we might need you in this series to shoot the ball, Rodney Hood, because that's what you're getting paid for, brother. It's okay. You can shoot the ball. Just set your feet. You're going to be open. You're open to shoot the shot. It's okay.
Nah, he just saw too many clips of Scottie Pippen sitting on that bench with Phil Jackson talking about, I don't want to go in, man. That's your boy. What's up with your boy, Flau? Got crazy glue in his shorts, man. You don't want to get off the bench? Oh, man. I didn't hear Flo say nothing about his man, Rodney Hood. Thank you for that, Daddy, breaking that up real quick. Anything with that regarding your man, Rodney Hood? All good in the hood? That's what he was silent, too.
I just hope Rodney Hood shows up. I really do. I really do. I hope he shows up to the game. That's number one.
Oh, man.
We're still looking for him, though. We're still looking for him.
Oh, man. All right. Don't want to get on you too bad, Flo. But, you had to bring it out there a little bit. We go on the other. Oh, go ahead, Flo.
No, what I was going to say that the one thing with the Celtics that really helps them out, they don't rely on one guy to score. They got different guys that can really shoot it. Right now, you got Jason Tatum averaging 19 points per game in this playoffs. You also got Jaylen Brown averaging 17. You got Rozier averaging 18 points. You got Al Horford going to work. So Boston does have a shot. They have a legitimate shot. You know, they just need their other two stars to play in the series. And unfortunately, these guys are hurt. You know, but Boston's going to definitely put up a fight. They will definitely put up a fight. The key for Cavs, Kevin Love's got to get busy against Aaron Baines. He's got to get busy. He's got to get Aaron Baines in foul trouble.
Oh, definitely hit it on the head with that one. You know, they got a lot of pieces, a lot of young pieces too. And, you know, coach very well. This is going to be a good series. It's going to be a good series, I think. Definitely better than the Toronto series. But we'll see as we go along, you know. And as for the other series, conference finals, that would be the Golden State Warriors, the reigning champions, going against the Houston Rockets with James Harden and Chris Paul. What do you guys think about this series, and who you think going to end up winning it, and how many games? Starting with you, Flo, this time.
LA, I'm picking the Warriors in 6. I'd rather pick them in 5. I'm going with 6. I just think with the Warriors, they're going to do a lot of switching defensively. And you might even see Durant guarding Chris Paul in the fourth quarter. They're going to try their best to hide Steph Curry on defense as much as possible. I know Steph Curry has a lot of pride. He wants to guard Chris Paul early in the game. And he's going to probably, fight with, Coach Kerr, demanding that he guards CP3 early in this game. But to me, with the Warriors, too much Durant with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond. And Draymond's definitely gonna have to knock out some jump shots, man. Knock down some 3-pointers over Clint Capella. He's gonna have to come outside. Take Capella out the basket. Come outside, man. Make him come outside and guard him. The key for the Rockets, for any chance to win this series, Eric Gordon got to get busy on Steph Curry when he comes to the game. He's gonna knock down a pull-up 3. He's gonna have to bully his way into the lane and get to the foul line. But other than that, Warriors 6 games.
Okay, thank you, there, Flo. How about you, Danny? What's your thoughts?
The same thing. I wanted Houston to win, but like I said, it's the reigning champs, the Warriors. I got them in 7. And the thing is this Houston, offensively, they're great, but it's not offense don't win the game, it's defense. Defensively, can they stop? They have to stop. Can they stop the Warriors off the switches? And I just don't see it happen. I just don't think they have enough to stop these guys. And there's too much offensive powers. And that anybody can go off. But like they can match up well, but I don't know how long they can be disciplined to match up. Like PJ Tucker, Abude, and Clinton Capella and all those guys come off the bench, they're gonna have to play. And I don't think they can do it. Defensively, I don't think they're up to the task to do it.
Yeah, I think there, Danny D. I was trying to really fight for a reason. I could see the Rockets pulling it off. And they got weapons. Don't get me wrong. They could shoot with the best of them. They hit 18, 19 threes. This series could be over just like that. And it'd be averaging close to that sometime. But like you said, that defense, and it happens every year with just D'Antoni teams, they just come up short. I don't like James Harden defense. It still didn't get much better than me. Chris Paul's going to do his job. He's going to definitely put pressure on Curry. But when you got a guy that can shoot as soon as he get on the court from half court in, it's hard to stay around this guy running, chasing him throughout all these picks and everything else. He's going to get help. They're going to switch. I understand that. But basically, it just come down to me. As long as that big four is healthy, he just ain't beating them, man. And you got 2 MVPs on this team. 2 MVPs in their prime. You got Durant and Curry. That's just not fair, man. As good as James Harden is, you got nobody that can match up with Kevin Durant one-on-one. You just can't. And he can hit it from outside. He can go inside. And that last game, when they finished up the last series, all them guys was clicking on all cylinders with Klay Thompson getting his points. Draymond was playing well. Guys rebound, getting triple-double almost. This team look like it's ready and it's starting to really step up and do their thing. Curry doesn't look as healthy as he normally did. But when you got all these weapons, it's hard to really beat this team, fellas. You got to play darn near a perfect game to beat them. And I don't think you could do that 4 times. I really don't, if these guys are healthy. And I think they're going to come up short. I'm picking the Warriors in 6, 7. That'd be pushing it. But I see it in 6. And I just don't think they got enough to match up with them, especially in the front court. Capella, I like him a lot, but you got Draymond, who's a veteran. He's going to be doing ticky-tack stuff, getting this kid in foul trouble with certain things I can see. And these guys know how to play with each other, man. They've been playing with each other the last couple of years. They know which way to go. They know which way the guys is cutting. And the team's going to be ready. They want to get that championship, and they seem to be on all cylinders again. So unless it's somewhat of an upset, I just don't see them playing enough good defense and hitting threes well enough to win that whole series. Because that's the MO. You live by the three, you die by the three a lot of times too. One other topic I want to talk about real quick, fellas, regarding NBA talk, was a recent report that I saw with Kwame Brown. He was recently suing some of his financial advisors for allegedly stealing almost $20 million from him. And I quote, in court, this document is obtained by the Blast. Brown, who was drafted first overall straight out of high school, accused Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, and advisor Michelle Marquez of finessing them out of the cash, which is allegedly $17 to $20 million. And this basically happened with some advisors from 2004. And the suit basically claims that he needed to be reimbursed for these additional charges. And they basically ruined his financial situation and had him sign off on some things that he knew nothing about. And basically, that's the allegations, is basically everything is around that report. What do you guys think about that Kwame Brown situation, starting with you, Danny D?
It's a hard situation. You drafted out of high school, somebody advises you and things like that, and you go with that, and you think they have the best of your purpose, and it happens. It happens a lot in the NBA. The same thing. They'll put me on record. I think it happened. Vince Carter happened with his agent. I think it was his cousin who stole money from him, and that was his cousin who stole money from him. So it's hard to trust people and things like that, especially when they see all the millions you got, and you really don't know the financial you come into that game. And then it's hard to trust people. And I'm sorry, and I hope he gets his money back if it's true, and I hope he gets his money back, every last dime that he deserved, because that's hard-earned money of his money, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, tough break, definitely is. What do you think about Flo?
LA, if I'm Kwame Brown, fight for everything you can. Get the best lawyers possible and go get your money. It's an unfortunate situation. I never wish any former NBA player or current NBA player to go through this. We've heard stories in the past where Tim Duncan had an issue before. We heard stories about Charles Barkley had some issues before, where their financial advisors advise them on bad investments such as buying a restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're Kwame Brown, go get your money, man. Fight, and get your money. Tough situation. I wish him all the best, and I expect him to be victorious.
I don't think bad. You lose a lot of money when you fighting these type of court cases. You could lose just as much fighting them just to get the money that you may not be able to get again. You know, it's a very tough situation. Even that's why they talk about in that documentary made called Broke and things of that nature, which makes you even think about how remarkable LeBron's story was to get so much money and not have these issues happen to him. You know, that's a remarkable thing. A guy that comes straight out of high school. It's really about who's the people around you. And like you stated, Danny D, and make sure you got the right team around you. Because these guys coming out of high school, you got people, grown men losing their money with situations like this, you know, who've been out in the league for years, investing in car washes and things of that nature, like Antoine Walker and all those things. These things is because thing that has happened time and time again throughout sports, NBA as a whole. And this is something they really got to look at when I brought this up, because they talking about they want to end the one and done. You got to put some safety nets, some precautions in here with these young players. There's going to be a lot more of them coming to the league. So this is something you really, I don't know if you're going to have to break the money down, a certain amount, give them before you give it all at one time, or you got to have certain things signed off on some level. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of side stories like this going forward. But we'll keep an eye on that, and any new, things that happen regarding this matter, we'll make sure to bring it on the show. And before we move on to the next topic, anything else you want to talk about regarding NBA talk? Starting with you, Flo.
Yeah, LA, I want to put out 2 trade proposals out there that I checked courtesy of the NBA Trade Machine. I just want your take on it, both of you gentlemen. Let me know when you're ready.
Right away. Let's get it going.
All right. So I have the Indiana Pacers trading point guard Darren Collison, power forward center Al Jefferson, and power forward / center Miles Turner to the Memphis Grizzlies for center Marc Gasol. What's your take on this, gentlemen?
What you think about Danny D?
For bummy Marcus, I don't want that bum. Marcus, no, man, I don't want that now. Because the only reason I'm saying that, because Miles Turner is a younger center. He's a younger center. I know Al is old, but Miles Turner has a lot of upside as opposed to Marc Gasol. That's just me.
I agree with you. I wouldn't do it for Marc Gasol. I'd rather do it for a more up and coming player that would fit that, maybe Andre Drummond type. If I was going for a center and I really wanted that, but younger and not that type of money, I'm not taking that contract. But I wouldn't do that. Not right now, because the team is not one piece away. You make that move and it's like one piece away from really contending. If you have Marc Gasol and Oladipo, how's that really going to get you to the next level? I don't see that happening. I don't see this getting you out the West with that. And I still don't see another player rushing to play with those two. As much as I like Oladipo, I don't see somebody rushing to play with him and Gasol at that point. So I wouldn't do it right now. What you think about it, Flo?
I don't like this deal at all for Indiana. I just think, like D mentioned before, Miles Turner, he's got a lot of growth. He still needs to be developed a little bit more. There's potential there. Jefferson, he's getting a little bit older. He's got some experience, but I don't know how much he has left in the tank. And Darren Collison, a steady veteran point guard. I don't see him as a starting point guard right now. After watching him in the 9-game series in the playoffs, I think he's more of a backup point guard.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. What about your second trade proposal?
Second trade proposal again is Darren Collison and Miles Turner to Charlotte for Kemba Walker. What's your take on this, gentlemen?
To me, that's more interesting.
Yeah.
I like that better before I just go right there and D, but I don't like that small backcourt. That's the thing. I feel like that's Portland situation there. If I was moving Kemba to another team, then I might do that. What you think about Danny D?
Yeah, I said that's what we both said at the same time. I said, the only thing is I don't like the Miles Turner, because you have to give, like you said, you have to give up somebody good to get him. But then that's a very small backcourt with Kemba and all the people, because they both have the ball. And see, that's the thing. They both have the balls in their hand. They both need it to progress to be a guard. That's the only thing. It's a conflict of interest and things like that. So, And then Miles also. But yeah, I could see it happening though. They want to go down that route though.
I tell you this: if I could move Kemba to Orlando, and get what's the power forward they got over there? Aaron Gordon. If I could make a move to do an Aaron Gordon type over here to Indiana, I'll do that. Do a 3-way trade, and I'll put Miles Turner in there. I'd rather have Aaron Gordon and Oladipo going forward to me. Now, if I could do something like that, I'll sign up for that. What you think about it, Flo?
I actually like this trade for Indiana, only because, again, you're getting a point guard that can score, that can move the rock, score, take some pressure off Oladipo, especially when you want to rest Oladipo. Then you make sure you have Walker on the floor. He can go get his back, get his buckets, so to speak. The only negative with this trade is that the height. Kemba Walker is 6 feet and Oladipo is 6'4". So that's the only issue I have with this deal. And the age. I believe Kemba is 28. So that might be the issue right there. So.
Yeah, I think we hit on the head. But just for those main issues, those are real prevalent issues to me. I think look at what happened with Portland. That team, those type of teams don't do well going to the playoffs. Unless you got a pure shooter, and Kemba's not a pure shooter, and neither Oladipo, like Danny D stated. They both need the ball in their hand. And they waiting for the other person to do what they got to do. It's going to hurt the other person's game to me. I'd much rather get Aaron Gordon time. I'd much rather get a front court player than me. Or even a pure shooter. Like, if I was getting Klay Thompson, I would do that because I know he can shoot the rock. He don't have to have the ball in his hand to be effective, But I don't like that as a backcourt at all. No, not with them two. Too small. Both play very similar. No, I'd rather go front court or even get a pure shooter to go with Oladipo. Not me. Would not do it. But that's pretty much it for NBA talk. And I want to jump right into the Knicks weekly roundup, fellas. We gotta talk about our Knicks. And that brings us right to our next segment, the Knicks weekly roundup. Gentlemen, what are your first impressions about David Fizdale, the recently hired coach for the Knicks, and his most recent press conference that took place, as well as him hiring assistant coaches Keith Smart and Nick Van Exel? What are your thoughts regarding these two main topics, fellas? Starting with you, Flo.
Hello, let me just give the fans real quick, give them some backstory with Keith Smart and Nick Van Exel. Keith Smart, 53 years old, his claim to fame, hitting the game-winning shot in the 1987 NCAA National Championship game for Indiana against Syracuse, where Syracuse was favorite when they had, Ronnie Cycli. He's been the assistant coach with 4 different teams: Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, the Miami Heat. And also, 5th team is also the Memphis Grizzlies. I apologize for that. He's got some NBA coaching experience. He coached the Cavs, the Warriors, and the Kings. His coaching record is 93 wins and 170 losses. And also, if you guys remember, he actually played in the movie Blue Chips, one of our favorite movies. I think it's very important. I think it's very, very important to make sure you have an experienced head coach on your roster. I thought he would actually go after Mike Woodson, but he settled on Keith Smart. Nothing wrong with that. So that's a good hire by Coach Fizdale. Also, Nick Van Exel, all-star point guard, played in the league for 13 years. He's played for 6 different teams. He finished in the top 15 in assists in 8 of his 13 seasons in the NBA. He averaged 14.4 points, 6.6 assists, 2.9 rebounds in his NBA career. Second-round draft pick by the Los Angeles Lakers in 1993, and he was the 37th pick overall out of the University of Cincinnati. Put that school on the map under Coach Bob Huggins. Van Exel, you guys know I'm a big fan of him. I've always thought he was a great NBA ball player. This is his opportunity, and with the bright lights. His job is going to be player development, developing these point guards, a la Trey Burke, Moutier, and Frank Ntilikina. Those are 2 good coaching hires by Coach Fizdale. So I have no problem with it.
Okay, nice breakdown there, Flo. How about you, Danny? What you think about the recent hiring and assistant coaches by David Fizdale?
Well, it was great by David Fizdale because first of all, he gets along with those 2, and also you always say about bosses. Bosses always surround players and people that they can learn from, and also like-minded and also smarter than them. So now they're getting the team together, and they're doing what you have to do. Like you said, Nick Van Exel, a perfect player development for the guards, and Keith Smart, the strategic to do some different things for the team for the defensive wise. And I think it's very great moves. Very, very great moves by Fizdale. Smart moves, and they were winning in Memphis too. So very good move by Fizdale.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Van Exel, it's just weird hearing people talk about him so much because I remember when he actually played, he was pretty much considered a lot of a hothead to me. And to hear a lot of guys saying he really mellowed down some level, and they talk about he has a lot of great knowledge. I guess he's been doing assistant for like the last 5 years. He had a head coach and assistant coach at the Texas Legends, NBA G League, and assistant coach for the Texas Southern Tide NCAA level as well. So, it's been some time since then, and you would hope he learned a lot just off the court as well as on the court, which it seems like he has. But the biggest thing I'm really happy about regarding Van Exel there is the point guard, because that's the thing I think really going to help out with Trey Burke. Frank is going to get helped out a lot with that, and Moutier as well. And that's what they keep saying. He views the game. He's like 2-3 steps ahead of the game, they say, the way he looks at it overall. And I think that's going to help out a lot regarding our point guard position. And I'm hoping with his experience in NBA, that's going to help these guys learn as they go and, get into that path of being a star point guard a lot quicker. They look a little bit lost this last year or so. So hopefully he helps out a lot in that regard. Keith Smart, like you said, I think as a main guy, he need a guy he can trust, a guy that can help him with the locker room. I think that's what he really brings. Only thing I wish I would see is one more really experienced head coach. And I'm kind of hoping he still goes after what's the guy we just talked about before? You were talking about as an assistant head coach. You stated, Flo.
Mike Woodson.
Mike Woodson. I'm still hoping he hires him or a coach of that caliber. But things happen throughout the league. Sometimes you need that coach to step in and really step in and do that job. And I don't know if you really think Keith Smart or Van Exel is that guy right now to do that. So I would really want one more really experienced guy that can help him out in that regard than me. Specifically, maybe offensive-wise, too. I think I would prefer that. But we'll see as we go along. I'm sure he got at least one or two more hires to make, so we'll see what happens. And also, I want to talk about regarding that, did y'all see the press conference? And if you did, what was some of the things that kind of stood out regarding that press conference? So on with you, Danny D.
Now, I didn't get the chance to see the press conference, but I did see him on Get Up. And he was talking about the direction. Oh, that's on ESPN. And he was talking about the direction when he had the Knicks, when he want the Knicks going. And also, he don't want no cupcakes on his team. He wants some tough guys that's willing to play. And then he wants them to toughen it out. And that's what he wants the game to go on for the Knicks. And also he wants them to be on the defensive aspect of the game, be more tough and play defense more harshly and go out there and play and get it while you're out there playing for the Knicks. And that's how he want to bring the Knicks back to the old day Knicks. I don't know how we can bring him back to 95. Ain't no more hand checking things like that. But that's what he was saying on Get Up for ESPN.
Yeah, I saw that too. A lot of good things to talk about that. What do you think about the flow? Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, I agree with D. I didn't get a chance to see the press conference, but I did see the ESPN show Get Up, where he was on it, and it seemed like he took a shot at Marc Gasol once again, and that's fine. I got no problem with that.
No.
I think
go ahead.
I think with him, I see he wants to bring a defensive attitude on this team, toughness, something that he learned from the Pat Riley days when he was in Miami. So I have no problem with that at all.
No, that's what you want. And that's what I did see the conference. The main thing they talk about, like you stated already, fellas, accountability, defense, and relationships. That's one of the main things they talk about too. Got to establish relationships with these guys. And they asked them about they reached out to Pat Riley, and I believe Mills stated that he did. That's one of the things that kind of helped him get the job. And that he felt like he'd be good experience-wise and personality-wise to deal with New York and things of that nature, which I wasn't mad about. I figured you had to do your due diligence in that regards as well. But the main thing, like you said, is going to be relationships and accountability. I think that's the one thing this team you didn't see a lot of. And I think that's going to help with Kristaps Porzingis. He also stayed, like we said in the last episode of our podcast, he's going to Latvia. He's going to be with him as well. He's planning the trip. And he also even brought up the Memphis situation with Gasol and basically said he learned a lot from it. He took ownership for his part in it as well. And, that's kind of good because some people say he need to be humbled a little bit. And I think that situation is going to help him in the long run, And you don't want that same situation to happen with a KP or a player of that nature. So if that had to happen, rather that happen in Memphis than, with the Knicks. But going forward, the biggest thing I also saw was like the camaraderie between Scott Perry, Fizdale, and Steve Mills. At the end, it was basically all like three the hallway, getting each other a little dap, giving each other handshakes and stuff. So you hoping that same situation that happened behind the scene when it regarding the draft, player movement, evaluations. And like you stated before, Flo, a lot of stuff starts from the top down. You can't really change the ownership and everything, but you hope these guys are learning from some of the mistakes they made previously with Phil Jackson and other coaches in that regard, and that we start a clean slate and move forward in the right direction. So that's the main thing I took from that regarding that press conference as well. I don't really have anything else to add regarding the Knicks weekly roundup, but you have anything else you want to add, starting with you, Flo, regarding this week roundup?
Yes, LA, I do. The NBA draft lottery begins this Tuesday, May 15. 7:30, I believe the picks will be called out at exactly 7:50 p.m. What I'm fighting for is if you are Commissioner Adam Silver, I'm going to tell you right now, the Knicks should be picking second in the 2018 NBA draft. The reason why I state that is simple. I want to read out the records that the Knicks that are in this draft lottery. The Knicks finished 1-1 against Memphis, 2-0 against Phoenix, 1-1 against Dallas, 1-2 versus Atlanta, 1-1 versus Sacramento, 1-3 versus Orlando, 1-3 versus Chicago. What this tells me at the end of the day, the Suns deserve the number 1 pick and the New York Knicks deserve the number 2 pick. So Adam Silver, you're listening. Knicks should have the second pick in the NBA draft. No excuses. Let's get New York back on top. Knicks, let's go all the way.
You trying to call for collusion? What do you think, this David Stern, man? Allegedly, they said allegedly with the Knicks freezing the ping pong balls and all these weird rumors back in the day with Patrick Ewing lottery. Look it up. What you think about Danny D?
Hey, man, allegedly, man, I don't got no ice pack or nothing, no ping pong ball, nothing like that, bro. But I'm just saying, man, listen, we want the top 5, man. That's what I'm saying. Top 5. Let's try to get this, man. Let's try to get it.
Yeah, but right now they're sitting at the number 9 statistic-wise, last time I checked. And, you know, that's not going to help the Knicks like they really need. Like you said, they really need top 3. But, you know, if we can do top 5, that'd be a big plus as well. They just got to move up and take it from there. But it's the lottery. It's the ping pong balls. And you just never know. And even if it doesn't have top 5, the way these players drop, like last year with Mitchell, he came, you know, late in the draft. There's always players available. You just got to do your due diligence and get the right player off the board and get the best player for your team. And I don't want to hear one thing when we go on this draft. We're going to have a good draft show, as we always do, in-depth draft show. Make sure listeners check it out going in the near future. But don't tell me about pieces and guards and we need to get a forward. I know that and I understand that, but the Knicks are not at that point where they need to be talking about we got to have this or that. Get the best player off the board. This team is not good enough to be sitting there talking about we got to get a forward, we got to get – if the point guard is the best player on the board and you see that, then you take him. You make a deal down the road to get rid of somebody. This team needs talent. I don't want to do that best player of position-wise. Take the best player available. That's what I'm looking at right now. That's even more important than the actual position in the league. That brings us to the end of our show, fellas. And as we close our show and have our closing remarks, anything you want to add for closing remarks? Starting with you, Danny D.
I just want to thank you guys once again on this wonderful show we have. Shout out to LA, shout out to Flau, and thanks to the fans and listeners. Keep on subscribing, keep on showing our love. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Danny D. Much appreciated as well. How about you, Flau? Anything you want to add closing remarks?
LA, let me add one more thing. I think in a previous segment you had mentioned about Vince Carter of being the franchise player at Toronto. Let's not forget the future Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh. Let's not forget about him also. He did a good job in Toronto. They did an excellent job drafting him, so let's not forget about that. But overall, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for allowing me part of this great show. Knicksfandom, #1 independent basketball podcast in the world. I want to thank all the listeners, old listeners, new listeners. We're all over the place, Spreaker.com, iTunes, SoundCloud. We're all over. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Flau. Much appreciated as well. Very true with Bosh, and also another tale of caution for the Toronto Raptors. He ended up leaving as well. So these guys don't stay with that team, man, that franchise. But thanks again, fellas. Couldn't do it without you, as I always say, because it's true. Thanks again to our listeners. Make sure to continue to subscribe to the show. Make sure to let other people know about this show. Trying to keep it going, keep it interesting. You know, keep you on the top of topics going into the playoffs. And also make sure to leave a review on iTunes. Much appreciated as well. Help people to find the show. And just make sure to tune in to the next episode, man. It's NBA Conference Finals right there. A lot to talk about. Have a good one, people. Have a happy holiday as well. Enjoy yourself. Peace. See ya.